The sun rose slowly over the golden plains of Willow Creek Reserve, casting long shadows across the land. The wind whispered through the tall grass, and somewhere in the distance, a lone cry echoed, a soft, weak sound that barely broke the morning silence. It was a call of a young Mustang Foal, no more than a few months old, injured and alone, once part of a proud wild herd. The foal had been caught in a sudden stampede, when lightning cracked across the sky, and thunder rolled like drums. In the chaos, it had fallen behind, its leg twisted painfully beneath it. When the rest of the herd moved on, the little Mustang was left to struggle alone. Its coat, once smooth and shiny, was now caked with dirt and blood from a deep cut along its flank. Its eyes were wide with fear and pain, but also something else, something rare in the wild, hope. Each step it took was slow, painful. It limped toward the edge of the reserve, where the wild gave way to quiet farmland and wooden houses stood like sentinels against the horizon. There, in one of those homes, lived an elderly woman named Maggie. Maggie had spent most of her life near horses. As a child, she rode bareback through the hills. As an adult, she worked with ranchers to train wild ones. But now, she was older, slower, still full of love for animals, just quieter about it. One evening, as the sky turned into a canvas of orange and purple, Maggie heard a faint whimper outside her house. She stepped onto the porch, her cane tapping softly against the wood. At first, she saw nothing but the last light of day and the swaying grass. Then movement. From behind the corner of her barn came a small, trembling shape, a foal, injured, alone. Maggie's breath caught in her throat. Her heart pounded, not with fear, but with urgency. The foal looked up at her with wide, pleading eyes. Its leg was bent awkwardly, the wound on its side swollen and red. It let out a weak whinny, then collapsed to the ground with a soft thud. Maggie didn't hesitate. She rushed inside, grabbed her old first aid kit, and hurried back out. She knew this could be dangerous. Wild animals often lash out when scared, but instinct told her this foal wasn't a threat. It was a victim. As she approached, the foal lifted its head slightly, eyes blinking slowly. It tried to move, but couldn't. "Shoo!" Maggie whispered, kneeling beside it. "You're safe now." Her hands trembled as she cleaned the wound, dabbing away the dirt with warm water and antiseptic. The foal flinched but didn't pull away. Instead, it nuzzled her hand gently, as if sensing her kindness. Tears welled in Maggie's eyes, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming weight of compassion. She wrapped the foal's leg carefully, speaking softly the whole time. "I'm here," she said. "I won't leave you." Night fell quickly. Stars blinked into view above them, and the air grew cooler. Maggie stayed by the foal's side until headlights appeared down the road. Rescue workers from the reserve. They arrived with a trailer, blankets, and sedatives. One of them approached cautiously. "You did good," he said, looking at Maggie with admiration. "This little guy is lucky you found him." Maggie nodded, watching as they loaded the foal into the trailer. It turned its head one last time, locking eyes with her before closing them again. Days passed. Maggie couldn't stop thinking about the foal. Was it okay? Had the injury healed? Finally, she drove to the reserve herself. Inside a small rehab pen, the foal stood tall, its coat gleaming under the afternoon sun. The bandage on its leg was fresh, and though there was still a scar, it was healing. When it saw Maggie, it trotted over to the fence, snorting happily. Maggie reached through the bars and scratched the soft fur behind its ears. "You're going to be all right," she whispered. The vet smiled. "Thanks to you." Maggie's eyes glistened. He just needed someone to care. From that day forward, Maggie visited often. She brought apples, brushed his coat, and talked to him like an old friend. And though the foal would never rejoin the wild herd, it found a new home, one filled with safety, love, and purpose. Moral: even the smallest act of compassion can change a life forever. If you enjoyed this story, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Wherever you are watching this from, thank you. Your heart matters. Your voice matters. And stories like these remind us why we should always choose kindness. Let's keep spreading warmth, one story at a time.